Hey everyone, welcome back to SwitchTop. I'm here to talk about something I'm really passionate about, JRPGs on the Nintendo Switch. If you love deep stories, turn-based combat, and games that can keep you hooked for dozens of hours, this list is for you. Today we're counting down the 25 best JRPGs you can play on Switch right now. These games range from classic remakes to brand new adventures, and each one brings something special to the table. Let's jump right in.
Chained Echoes is a love letter to classic 90s JRPGs that feels both nostalgic and fresh at the same time. The story follows a group of heroes trying to stop a war between three kingdoms while dealing with mysterious sky armor mechs that have appeared across the land. The combat system is turn-based but includes an overdrive meter that changes how much damage you deal and take, so you need to manage your actions carefully. You can explore the world on foot or pilot giant mechs, and the game lets you tackle areas in different orders. The pixel art looks amazing, and the music really captures that old-school JRPG feeling. What makes this game special is how it takes the best parts of classics like Chrono Trigger and adds modern quality-of-life features. There are no random encounters, healing items don't cost money, and you can save anywhere. It's about 40 hours long and perfect for anyone who misses the golden age of JRPGs but wants something that doesn't feel outdated.
Beat Lacrimosa of Dana puts you in the shoes of Adol, a red-haired adventurer who gets shipwrecked on a cursed island along with other survivors. The story switches between Adol's survival adventure and Dana, a mysterious blue-haired girl from the island's ancient past. The combat is fast-paced action RPG style where you control one character while AI handles your party members. Each character has different weapon types, slash, strike, and pierce, that work better against certain enemies, so switching between party members is key. You'll spend time exploring the island, rescuing other castaways, building up your village, and uncovering the island's dark secrets. The game has a really good balance between action combat and base management elements. What I love about Ys 8 is how the story keeps you guessing about the connection between the past and present, and the relationship between Adol and Dana develops naturally without being forced. The island feels alive with different biomes to explore, and finding all the castaways gives you a real sense of accomplishment. It runs great on Switch in both docked and handheld mode. Sea of Stars is made by the same team that created The Messenger, and it's their tribute to classic JRPGs like Chrono Trigger. You play as Valere and Zale, two solstice warriors who can use sun and moon magic to fight against an evil alchemist trying to create powerful creatures called dwellers. The turn-based combat includes timed button presses for both attacks and defense, making battles feel more interactive than typical JRPGs. You can also use combination attacks between party members and interrupt enemy spells by timing your hits correctly. The world is beautiful with hand-drawn animations and a fantastic soundtrack that really sets the mood. What sets Sea of Stars apart is how it respects your time. There are no random encounters, you can cook food to heal instead of buying expensive items, and the story moves at a good pace without too much backtracking. The game takes about 25 to 30 hours to complete, making it perfect for people who want a classic JRPG experience without the 100-hour commitment. The writing is charming and the characters have great chemistry together.
Dragon Quest III is one of the most important JRPGs ever made, and this HD 2D remake brings it to modern audiences with stunning visuals that mix 2D sprites with 3D backgrounds. You create a custom hero and build your own party by choosing from different job classes like warrior, mage, priest, and thief. The story is simple but effective. You're following in your father's footsteps to defeat the evil Barmos and save the world. The combat is traditional turn-based with a focus on strategy and party composition. What makes this version special is how the HD 2D art style makes everything look like a living painting. The music has been beautifully reorchestrated and the translation is much better than older versions. You'll spend time exploring a large world map, visiting different towns, and discovering secrets and dungeons. The job system lets you experiment with different party builds, and characters can learn spells from other classes. This remake also includes quality of life improvements like faster combat animations and better menu systems. It's a perfect starting point for people new to Dragon Quest and a great way for longtime fans to experience this classic with fresh eyes. Fantasy Life I is the long-awaited sequel to the 3DS favorite, and it combines life simulation with RPG elements in a really charming way. You play as a character who gets caught up in a mystery involving a girl who can manipulate time, and you'll need to master different life jobs to solve the puzzle. The game lets you choose from jobs like Paladin, Magician, Carpenter, Cook, and many others, each with their own gameplay mechanics and storylines. Combat varies depending on your job. Some are action-based while others are more strategic. What makes this game addictive is how all the different jobs connect to each other. Materials you gather as a miner help you craft better weapons as a blacksmith, which makes combat easier for warrior jobs. The story deals with themes of friendship and time travel without getting too complicated. The art style is colorful and welcoming, and the world feels alive with NPCs who have their own daily routine. You can play solo or with friends online, which makes the experience even better. The game respects different playstyles. You can focus on combat, crafting, exploration, or just live a peaceful virtual life doing whatever makes you happy. Final Fantasy XII originally came out in 2006, but this Zodiac Age version is the best way to experience this unique entry in the FF series. The story takes place in the desert kingdom of Dalmasca, where you play as Vaughn, a young thief who gets caught up in a political conflict involving sky pirates, fallen nobility, and an evil empire. The combat system uses the Gambit system, where you program your party members to act automatically based on conditions you set up. This means battles happen in real time, but you can pause to give commands or let your party handle things automatically. The world of Ivalice is huge and feels more like an offline MMO than a traditional JRPG. You'll spend lots of time in large areas hunting monsters, completing side quests, and finding rare equipment. The license board system lets you customize each character's abilities and equipment options. What I love about FF12 is how mature the political story feels compared to other FF games, and the voice acting is really well done. The game can take 60+ hours to complete if you do all the optional content, and there are some really challenging optional bosses that require serious strategy to defeat. Fire Emblem Three Houses combines tactical combat with life simulation in a way that feels natural and engaging. You play as a professor at a military academy where you teach one of three houses: the Black Eagles, Blue Lions, or Golden Deer. Each house has different students with their own personalities, backstories, and combat specialties. The first half of the game focuses on teaching and building relationships with your students, while the second half involves a time skip and major political conflict between the three nations. Combat is grid-based tactical RPG where positioning and weapon matchups matter a lot. You can move characters around the battlefield and plan your attacks carefully, since death is permanent unless you're playing on casual mode. What makes this game special is how much the characters develop both in story and gameplay terms. Students can change classes based on how you train them, and the relationships you build affect both combat effectiveness and story outcomes. The game has 3 main routes plus a secret 4th route, giving you tons of replay value. Each playthrough takes about 50 to 80 hours, and seeing how different choices affect the story keeps things interesting across multiple runs. Live Alive is a forgotten Square classic from 1994 that finally got localized and remade with gorgeous HD 2D visuals. The game tells 7 different stories across different time periods, from prehistoric times to the far future. Each chapter has its own protagonist, gameplay mechanics, and even music style that matches the setting. For example, the Wild West chapter plays like a traditional JRPG, while the Ninja chapter focuses on stealth gameplay. The combat system is turn-based, but uses a grid where position and timing matter. Each character has different attack ranges and movement options, making battles feel more strategic than typical JRPGs. What makes Live Alive amazing is how experimental it is. Each chapter feels like a different game, and the final chapters tie everything together in a really satisfying way. The remake adds voice acting and improves the presentation while keeping the original's unique charm. Some chapters are short and focused, while others are longer adventures, but they all contribute to the overall story about the eternal struggle between good and evil. It's unlike any other JRPG you've played, and shows how creative the genre can be when developers take risks.
The Lunar Remastered collection brings back two beloved JRPGs from the 90s, Lunar Silver Star Story and Lunar Eternal Blue. These games were famous for their anime cutscenes, voice acting, and emotional storytelling at a time when most JRPGs had minimal presentation. The first game follows Alex, a young adventurer who dreams of becoming a hero like his idol Dragon Master Dine. The second game takes place 1,000 years later with a new cast dealing with the aftermath of the first game's events. Combat is turn-based but includes movement on a battlefield, so positioning affects your attack and spell ranges. Both games focus heavily on character development and have some of the most memorable casts in JRPG history. The remastered versions include updated graphics, remastered audio, and quality of life improvements while preserving what made these games special. The stories deal with themes of growing up, responsibility, and sacrifice in ways that feel genuine rather than forced. Each game takes about 30 to 40 hours to complete, and the collection includes concept art, music galleries, and other bonus content. These games influenced many later JRPGs and are essential playing for anyone interested in the genre's history. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition is the ultimate sci-fi JRPG experience on Nintendo Switch. The story begins with humanity fleeing Earth in colony ships after aliens destroy the planet. Your ship crashes on the alien world of Mira, and you must help rebuild civilization while exploring this massive, dangerous planet. You play as a customizable character who joins Blade, an organization dedicated to exploration and protection of New Los Angeles. The combat system is real-time with auto attacks, but you activate special arts manually and can chain them together for big damage. Later in the game, you gain access to giant mechs called skells that completely change how you explore and fight. What makes Xenoblade Chronicles X incredible is the sense of scale. Mira is huge, with 5 distinct continents, each with unique environments, creatures, and secrets. The exploration feels meaningful because discovering new areas, landmarks, and resources helps your colony grow. The soundtrack by Hiroyuki Sawano is absolutely amazing and perfectly captures the feeling of being stranded on an alien world. You can easily spend 100+ hours exploring everything Mira has to offer, and the Definitive Edition adds new story content and improvements that make this the best version of an already outstanding game.
Open fire! Follow me!
Target in sight! Shadow strike!
Assault hammer!
Nice! Move in and do some damage!
Flame grenade!
Unicorn Overlord is a tactical RPG from the makers of 13 Sentinels that combines beautiful hand-drawn art with deep strategic gameplay. You play as Prince Elaine, who must reclaim his kingdom from an evil empire that took over when he was young. The game uses a unique real-time tactical system where you deploy units on large battlefields and they fight automatically based on tactics you set up beforehand. You can pause time to give new orders or change formations, making battles feel dynamic but still strategic. What makes this game special is how you can recruit over 60 different characters, each with their own classes and abilities that can be customized. The story deals with themes of leadership and rebuilding a nation without being too heavy-handed about it. Between battles, you'll explore towns, talk to NPCs, and manage your army's equipment and skills. The art style looks like a fantasy storybook come to life, and the music perfectly matches the medieval fantasy setting. Combat rewards smart positioning and team composition rather than just grinding levels.
Brace yourself!
Does this suit you?
Witness the royal blade!
Ni no Kuni 2 follows Evan, a young king who loses his throne and must build a new kingdom while trying to unite the world in peace. The game combines traditional JRPG adventures with kingdom building mechanics where you literally construct and manage your own town. Combat is real-time action where you control one character while AI handles your party, and you can switch between party members instantly. You also have tiny creatures called Higgledies that provide support during battles with healing and attack boosts. The world is colorful and charming with Studio Ghibli-inspired visuals that make exploration a joy. What sets this game apart is the kingdom building system. You recruit citizens to live in your town, assign them jobs, and research new technologies and buildings. Your kingdom's growth affects your combat abilities and opens up new story opportunities. The game deals with political themes about leadership and cooperation in a way that's accessible but not dumbed down. Side quests often tie into the main story and help you understand the world better. It's about 40 to 60 hours long depending on how much kingdom building you do, and the DLC adds even more content.
Not far now, Evan.
Super Mario RPG is a remake of the beloved SNES classic that introduced Mario to the world of turn-based RPGs. The story begins when Bowser kidnaps Princess Peach as usual, but then a bigger threat appears. Mechanical invaders from another dimension who take over Bowser's castle and scatter everyone across the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario teams up with unlikely allies including Bowser himself, a doll named Geno, and a cloud spirit named Mallow to save the world. The combat uses timed button presses for both attacks and defense, making battles more interactive than typical turn-based systems. Each character has unique abilities. Mario is well-rounded, Bowser hits hard, Peach heals and buffs, Mallow uses magic, and Geno has powerful special attacks. The remake adds beautiful modern graphics while keeping the original's charm intact, plus new content and quality of life improvements. What makes this game timeless is how it perfectly balances Mario's lighthearted world with genuine RPG depth. The writing is funny without being silly, and the boss battles require actual strategy. It's about 15 to 20 hours long, making it perfect for newcomers to JRPGs who want something accessible but engaging.
Octopath Traveler 2 perfects the formula from the first game, with 8 new characters, each with their own complete storylines that eventually connect in meaningful ways. The HD 2D art style makes every scene look like a beautiful painting in motion, and the soundtrack is absolutely incredible. Combat uses a turn-based system with a boost point mechanic. You can save up points to make your attacks more powerful or break enemy defenses more easily. Each character has unique path actions that let you interact with NPCs in different ways. The scholar can study people for information, the thief can steal items, and the dancer can allure people to follow them. What makes this sequel better is how the 8 stories feel more connected and the characters interact with each other more naturally. You can tackle the stories in any order you want, and the game does a good job of scaling difficulty appropriately. The world feels alive with day and night cycles that affect which NPCs are available and what actions you can take. Each character's story deals with mature themes like revenge, faith, and family in thoughtful ways. The game takes about 60 to 80 hours to complete all 8 stories and the post-game content, giving you tons of value for your money.
What's our plan of attack? My spear shall strike through!
My turn.
The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero is part of the Massive Trail series and serves as a great starting point for newcomers. You play as Lloyd Bannings, a rookie detective who joins a special support section in the city-state of Crossbell. The story starts small with the team solving local problems, but gradually builds into a larger political thriller involving organized crime, religious cults, and neighboring countries. Combat is turn-based on a grid where positioning matters for both attacks and movement. You can delay enemy turns by hitting them at the right time, and combining character abilities creates powerful team attacks. What makes Trails special is the incredible world building. Every NPC has their own storylines that develop throughout the game, and small details from conversations often become important later. The writing is top-notch with realistic character development and political intrigue that feels grounded rather than over the top. You'll spend a lot of time talking to people, investigating cases, and exploring the city of Crossbell, which becomes like a second home by the end. The game takes about 50 to 60 hours and sets up storylines that continue in later games. It's perfect for people who love detailed stories and don't mind reading lots of dialogue.
行くぜ。
行きます。
Persona 4 Golden is widely considered one of the best JRPGs ever made, and now you can play it on Switch. You play as a high school student who moves to a small town and discovers that people are being murdered and thrown into a TV world filled with monsters called shadows. The game brilliantly combines dungeon crawling with life simulation. During the day you go to school, hang out with friends, and work part-time jobs, while at night you explore dungeons and fight monsters. Combat is turn-based with a focus on exploiting enemy weaknesses to gain extra turns. You summon creatures called personas to fight, and you can fuse multiple personas together to create stronger ones. What makes Persona 4 incredible is how how the social simulation and dungeon crawling support each other. Building relationships with friends makes your personas more powerful, and the people you meet have their own personal struggles that mirror the game's themes. The murder mystery keeps you guessing, and the cast of characters feels like real friends by the end. The game deals with heavy themes like identity, truth, and accepting yourself in mature ways. It takes about 80 to 100 hours to see everything, but the pacing is so good that it never feels like a slog.
I smell 2 enemies. Beat them up. Counting on you. Persona!
It's over!
I couldn't do
Pokemon Legends Arceus completely reimagines the Pokemon formula by taking you back to ancient Sinnoh when humans and Pokemon lived in fear of each other. You play as a member of the Survey Corps tasked with creating the region's first Pokedex by studying wild Pokemon behavior. The biggest change is that you can catch Pokemon directly in the overworld without battling them first. You sneak up and throw Pokeballs in real time, making the world feel more alive and interactive. When you do battle, the turn system is based on speed and move types, with agile and strong style attacks that trade power for speed or vice versa. The crafting system lets you make your own Pokeballs and items from materials you gather while exploring. What makes this game special is how it focuses on observation and research rather than just collecting. You need to see Pokemon use specific moves, catch them at different times, and study their behaviors to complete Pokedex entries. The story explores the origins of human-Pokemon relationships and features some genuinely challenging boss battles against frenzied noble Pokemon. While the graphics aren't the most advanced, the gameplay innovations make this feel like the Pokemon adventure many fans have been waiting for. It's about 25 to 30 hours for the main story, with lots more content for completionists. Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma brings the beloved farming RPG series to feudal Japan with beautiful results. You play as a guardian protecting the land of Azuma from mysterious corruption while farming, crafting, and building relationships with the local villagers. The game combines real-time combat with farming simulation. You'll spend mornings tending crops and afternoons exploring dungeons or fighting monsters. Combat uses a variety of weapons, from swords to magic staves, and you can tame monsters to help you in battle or work on your farm. The Japanese-inspired setting feels fresh for the series, with gorgeous environments and a soundtrack that perfectly captures the peaceful rural atmosphere. What makes Rune Factory special is how all the different gameplay systems work together. Crops you grow can be cooked into meals that boost your stats, materials from monsters help you craft better equipment, and relationships with villagers unlock new recipes and storylines. The romance system lets you build relationships with eligible bachelors and bachelorettes through gifts and conversations. The main story deals with environmental themes and the balance between nature and progress without being preachy. You can easily spend 60+ hours just enjoying the peaceful gameplay loop of farming, exploring, and getting to know the community. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance is the definitive version of one of the most challenging and rewarding JRPGs on Switch. The story follows a high school student who gets transported to a post-apocalyptic version of Tokyo overrun by demons and angels. You fuse with a mysterious being to become a Nahobino, gaining the power to fight demons and recruit them to your cause. Combat is turn-based with the press turn system, where exploiting weaknesses gives you extra actions. But enemies can do the same to you, making every battle potentially deadly. The demon fusion system is incredibly deep. You can combine demons to create stronger ones, and there are hundreds of demons to collect and experiment with. What makes SMT5 special is how it doesn't pull punches. The story deals with heavy philosophical themes about religion, morality, and the nature of God, and the difficulty expects you to understand the combat systems thoroughly.
The Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster brings back two of the most beloved JRPGs ever made with updated graphics and modern conveniences. Both games focus on political rebellion and war, with the first game following a young Imperial soldier who joins a rebel army after witnessing corruption, while the second game deals with the larger conflict between city-states. What makes Suikoden legendary is the 108 Stars of Destiny system. You recruit 108 unique characters throughout each game, each with their own backstories, abilities, and roles in your growing army. Combat combines traditional turn-based battles with large-scale war battles and one-on-one duels, giving you variety in how conflicts play out. The political stories are incredibly well written, dealing with themes of loyalty, corruption, and the cost of war in mature ways that still feel relevant today. Character development is top-notch, with relationships and betrayals that will stick with you long after finishing the game. The remaster adds fast-forward options, enhanced graphics, and the ability to carry save data from the first game to the second, creating an epic two-part story spanning both games. The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak is the newest entry in the Legendary Trails series and serves as a fresh starting point for newcomers. You play as Van Arkride, a Spriggan who takes on various jobs in the Republic of Calvard, from finding lost cats to solving major political mysteries. The story begins with seemingly simple requests, but gradually builds into a complex web involving organized crime, government corruption, and ancient mysteries that threaten the entire nation. Combat is turn-based on a grid where positioning and timing are crucial. You can delay enemy turns by attacking at the right moment and use field attacks to gain advantages before battles even start. What makes Trails special is the incredible attention to detail in world building. Every NPC has their own evolving storyline throughout the game, and conversations you have early on often become important much later. The political intrigue feels realistic and grounded, dealing with themes of justice, corruption, and what it means to do the right thing in morally gray situations. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door is the remake of the beloved GameCube classic that many consider the best Paper Mario game ever made. Mario receives a treasure map from Princess Peach and travels to the seedy town of Rogueport to find the legendary treasure behind the Thousand-Year Door. The story takes Mario through 7 different chapters, each with unique settings like a wrestling arena, a luxury train, and a spooky forest, all while dealing with the mysterious X-Nauts who have their own plans for the ancient treasure. Combat is turn-based, with timed button presses that let you deal extra damage or reduce incoming attacks, making every battle interactive and engaging. Mario gains partners throughout his adventure, each with unique abilities both in combat and for solving environmental puzzles. Goombella can analyze enemies, Koops can hit switches from far away, and Madame Flurry can blow away fog. What makes this game timeless is its perfect blend of humor and genuine emotion. The writing is genuinely funny without being childish, and some story moments are surprisingly touching. Persona 5 Royal is widely considered one of the greatest JRPGs ever made, and now Switch owners can experience this masterpiece in all its stylish glory. You play as a high school student who gains the power to enter the distorted desires of corrupt adults called palaces, where you can steal their hearts and force them to confess their crimes. The game perfectly balances dungeon crawling with life simulation, where you attend school, work part-time jobs, and build relationships with friends during the day, then explore supernatural dungeons at night. Combat is turn-based with a focus on exploiting enemy weaknesses using different personas, mythological creatures you can summon and fuse together to create even more powerful beings. The social link system connects your daily life to your combat abilities. Building stronger relationships makes your personas more powerful and unlocks new fusion possibilities. What makes Persona 5 Royal incredible is how it tackles serious social issues like abuse of power, corruption, and societal pressure through its compelling story and unforgettable characters.
Persona, go down!
Dragon Quest XI's is the ultimate version of what many consider the perfect modern JRPG. You play as the Luminary, a young man who discovers he's the reincarnation of a legendary hero destined to save the world from an ancient evil called Kalasmos. The story begins in a small village but expands into an epic globe-trotting adventure as you gather companions and uncover the truth about your destiny and the world's dark history. Combat is traditional turn-based with the option to switch to free movement during battles, and you can see enemies on the field to avoid or engage them as you choose. Each party member has unique abilities and weapon types, and the skill system lets you customize their development by spending points in different weapon categories. What makes Dragon Quest XI special is how it perfects classic JRPG design without feeling outdated. The story hits all the familiar beats, but executes them flawlessly, the characters are charming and well developed, and the world is a joy to explore with beautiful locations and memorable NPCs.
Crikey! Fight and fight some more! Get him!
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is not just the best JRPG on Switch. It's one of the greatest JRPGs ever made, period. The story brings together the worlds of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 in an emotional conclusion that follows 6 soldiers from 2 warring nations who discover the dark truth about their eternal conflict. Noah and Mio lead their respective teams as they break free from their predetermined fates and fight to end a cycle of violence that has trapped both nations for generations. The combat system is the series' most refined, combining real-time movement with cooldown-based arts and powerful chain attacks that require timing and strategy to execute properly. You can switch between different classes to customize each character's role, and the Ouroboros system lets pairs of characters fuse into massive mechanical forms with devastating abilities. What makes Xenoblade Chronicles 3 a masterpiece is how it balances an incredibly complex story with genuine emotional moments that will stay with you forever. The themes of life, death, memory, and what it means to truly live are explored through both grand plot developments and intimate character interactions. And there you have it, the definitive top 25 JRPGs on Nintendo Switch. Each of these games represents the absolute best of what the genre has to offer, from epic adventures to deep character development, innovative combat systems to unforgettable stories. If you haven't played these games yet, you're missing out on some of the best gaming experiences available on any platform. Which one are you most excited to try? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these incredible games. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this countdown, smash that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch content. Until next time.